The ballroom was empty except for one man. He stood in silence, staring at his reflection in the tall mirrors that lined the walls. His suit was pressed, his shoes polished, but his eyes were hollow. Daniel Hartman, the CEO whose name commanded respect across industries, had everything that people dreamed of: wealth, success, influence. Yet when the lights dimmed and the applause of his business world faded, he was left with nothing but silence. Daniel was a lonely man. Years of ruthless boardroom battles and endless nights spent chasing numbers had stripped him of simple joys. The music of life had grown faint for him, until that evening. He had been invited to a charity gala hosted in his company's ballroom. He rarely attended these events, but something compelled him to stop by before the crowd arrived. As he walked across the floor, he noticed someone in the corner. A small figure, half hidden by the golden curtains. A little girl. She couldn't have been more than 8 or 9, sitting in a wheelchair far too large for her delicate frame. Her eyes lit up when she saw him. "You're Daniel Hartman, right?" she asked, her voice trembling with shyness yet filled with certainty. Daniel gave a small smile. "Yes, that's me. And who might you be?" "My name is Lily," she whispered, fiddling with the hem of her dress. Then, with sudden boldness, she blurted out, "Can you teach me to dance?" Daniel froze. The question struck him deeper than he expected. He, who hadn't danced in years, not since his college sweetheart left, tired of his ambition and absence, was now being asked to share something he thought he'd lost forever. His instinct was to laugh it off, but when he looked at Lily's hopeful eyes, his heart softened. He knelt beside her. "Teach you to dance?" he asked gently. She nodded eagerly, her curls bouncing. "I've never danced before. I always watch the girls at school, but they say I can't. They say I'll never dance." For the first time in years, Daniel felt a crack in the armor around his heart. He reached out his hand. "Then let's prove them wrong." That night, as the gala guests slowly filled the hall, whispers spread. The powerful CEO, known for his stern face and ruthless business style, was on the ballroom floor with a little girl in a wheelchair. But instead of ignoring the gossip, Daniel ignored the world. He placed one hand gently on Lily's and began guiding her chair in slow, graceful movements to the rhythm of the music. "See," he whispered, "dancing isn't just with feet. It's with the heart." Lily laughed, the kind of laughter that seemed to bring life into the room. For the first time in years, Daniel found himself smiling without force. He spun her chair in gentle circles, teaching her how to move with the melody. The crowd, at first skeptical, fell silent, then began to clap along softly. What they witnessed wasn't a dance of perfection, but a dance of courage. In the days that followed, Daniel couldn't forget Lily. He discovered she was the daughter of one of his employees, a single mother working long shifts just to pay for Lily's medical bills. Guilt gnawed at him. Here he was, sitting at the top of the corporate ladder, blind to the struggles of those beneath him. He realized his empire had been built on numbers, not people. He began visiting Lily often. Each visit, she begged for more dance lessons. They turned Daniel's sterile office into a dance floor, rolling chairs, swaying arms, clapping hands. His staff watched in shock as their untouchable CEO laughed like a child again. But Lily's health was fragile. One day, her mother confessed to Daniel that the medical treatments were becoming impossible to afford. Daniel's chest tightened. He could solve this with a single signature, a single check. But he didn't want to be a savior who simply threw money at problems. He wanted to change the way his company worked, so no parent had to face this alone. The next board meeting was unlike any before. Daniel stood tall, but his tone carried something different, not cold authority, but raw conviction. He announced a new initiative, a foundation funded by the company's profits to support children with disabilities and medical needs. The board resisted, arguing about costs and investors, but Daniel's words silenced them. "This company doesn't just build wealth," he said firmly. "It must build hope. If we lose sight of people like Lily, then all our success means nothing." The motion passed, not because of strategy, but because his passion left no room for denial. Months passed, and the foundation grew. Daniel was no longer the lonely CEO locked in his office. He was out in the world, meeting families, teaching more children how to dance in ways beyond movement. Lily became the face of the foundation, her smile lighting up every campaign. But the most powerful moment came one spring evening, during the first official gala of the foundation. The hall was filled with parents, children, and employees. As the lights dimmed, Daniel rolled Lily onto the stage. She was nervous but excited, dressed in a sparkling gown that made her look like a star. The music began. This time, it wasn't just Daniel guiding her. It was Lily guiding herself, spinning her chair with grace, lifting her arms in rhythm, showing the world that dance was more than steps. It was freedom. The audience erupted into applause, many with tears streaming down their faces. And Daniel, once the man with an empty life, felt something he hadn't felt in years. He felt whole. Later that night, Lily looked up at him with shining eyes. "Do you think I really danced tonight?" Daniel knelt, his voice breaking. "Lily, you didn't just dance. You taught me how to live again." From that day on, Daniel was never called just a CEO. He became known as the man who danced with hope. His story spread far beyond his company, inspiring people everywhere to look beyond limitations, to find joy in unlikely places, and to remember that true success isn't measured in wealth, but in the lives we touch. And whenever Lily visited, she would ask with that same playful grin, "Can you teach me another dance?" And Daniel always smiled back, ready to say yes.